All right. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Game is the Game Pod. I'm here as always with my bro Eric. Definitely hit subscribe. We got some new content coming to you pretty soon this week. Some Eastern semi breakdowns as well as some regular season breakdowns and postseason outlook for a couple of teams. So definitely look out for that. In the West, the big question today's game at tipping up in a couple hours here actually is the Lakers game. Lakers versus
Okay.
Sun.
We got to look at the sign. LeBron is 36. That's the
He's
sign for the day.
36. Yeah.
He's
Can he
36.
carry him?
Can
You
he
think?
carry them? And, I just think it's unfair because he's 36 years old. He's 36. Look at the sign. He's 36. And you still have, the media fans expecting him to carry this team. This team is not a team that I think that, number one, is it fair for him to have to carry? No. And number two, that I think that he can carry them at this age, especially with him still nursing that high ankle sprain. It's not like he's 100% healthy. He's not. He's already said that he's not 100% healthy. So for them to come out and ask him, or have this expectation that, hey, if the Lakers lose tonight or if they lose this series because he couldn't carry them, I just don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I actually still think the Lakers have a pretty good chance here of winning today and winning the series. I think they found some lineups that brought them some favorable matchups, especially with playing Gasol more. I do think this needs to be a Gasol Harrell finish down the pipe here, and then a little bit less of Drummond. I know that he's in their long-term plans, and that might ruffle his feathers a bit, but I do think, especially with Anthony Davis being out, they need to play Harrell more. They're going to need his scoring, his energy. It definitely comes down to shot making. Kuzma hasn't made any shots. Schroeder hasn't made any shots. He hasn't really played to the level that he was playing at before he had the COVID
Three,
protocol
three, three
situation.
of three of 13. Last game, -8, 3 assists for Schrader. He's not doing anything.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't really played well, and he was playing really well before the COVID situation. So hopefully he starts to play better, and they're going to need him big tonight. He wants to command a 30-year, 30 million, $25 million contract. This is where you earn it. If you don't get it from the Lakers, you get it from someone if you can help them pull out this series. So a lot of eyes are on him. To me, it's him and Kuzma. I talked about in the last. He hasn't played well at all. He hasn't shot the ball well. He hasn't made shots. And I thought that he started to figure things out this year. But, 82 game players, 16 game players. This is where you need to, really
And
make
I
your
will
head.
I give Kuzma a little bit of a pass because his role is constantly changing. As soon as an injury happens on the team, his role immediately changes. So he's in and out of the starting lineup. They're asking him to do different things. So I know that one would say maybe he's not comfortable because his role is constantly changing, but still at the same time, um, he has to play better. I think that he's still in the playoffs. He's been put in a position where they're asking him to score, and I think that's what he likes to do. He feels he's a scorer that can score from anywhere on the court, on the perimeter, in the paint, on the block against smaller defenders, smaller guards. So he just has to play better. That's it. I think between Schrader, KCP, Kuzma, and the insertion of Montrezl Harrell and Gasol, they have those 4 to 5. They have to give them something. It can't just be LeBron. They have to play well. They have to give them something. And if they
Yeah,
give
and I
them,
think THT too. He definitely has to play. I think over Wes Matthews. I talked about it. Shout out to Wes Matthews. In my mind, the original 3-and-D guy that I remember in this league, but he just doesn't really seem like he has the pop, and he's not really shooting it well. And I do think with the lack of scoring, which you lose in AD, he's someone that has shown that he could be a primary ball handler and get some buckets. So I think definitely he's going to be important. On the Phoenix side, it looks like Chris Paul is getting healthier day after day. We've mentioned Crowder hasn't really shot the ball well. For them to win, I think he definitely needs to shoot the ball well because he's the only one.
shot it a little bit better in game 4, though.
Yeah, he shot a little bit better in game 4. So I think that he's going to be big, and whatever they get off the bench, looks like Cameron Payne is the guy. What to call it, Cameron Hardest Payne, Panthers fan. But yeah, if they get something off the bench, this is going to be a big game. I mean, if the Suns lose this game, the series is over. I really think whoever wins this game is most likely probably going to win the series. I do give the Lakers a better chance of winning game 6 and winning game 7 if they lose tonight. But for the Suns, I think this is a must win. They have to win this game.
Shout out to my brother T, man. We got into a big argument here on Sunday that was predicated on LeBron being 36. And I just said that I don't think he can do it by himself. He's 36. He's nursing an injury. I know that you said you like the Lakers, but it's just, to me, how it's just, again, he's 36, and their role players haven't really done much. I think that
they have to make shots. Yeah,
they have to make shots.
They have to make shots.
You know, if anybody can do it, it's gonna be LeBron. If anybody can and win this type of game and go on the road into a hostile environment against a good team that has played well all season, that has the horses like Phoenix does between Booker, Aiden, and Chris Paul. If anyone can go into a hostile environment and come out with that win, I've seen LeBron do it a couple of times. 2012 in Boston, different environments. Game 5 in Golden State, the year they came back 3-1. So I've seen him do it in a lot of different environments. So if anybody is capable of doing it,
it's going to be him. That's a great point.
The only two things that make me lean towards him not being able to do it is, number one, he's still nursing that injury. He's still hurt. And number two, he's 36. So he's getting up there in age. And obviously he's still, in my opinion, he's still the best player in the league currently. But it's just, that's a tough task. And that's a lot to ask of him. So we'll see.
This Lakers team, they've stepped up to the challenges. We saw that in the bubble. KCP comes back tonight. That has to be mentioned. He was missing game 5, and I think they sorely missed his shooting and his defense. So it'll be an interesting game tonight. But I think the Lakers can, if I had to pick, I think the Lakers upset them tonight. So that's the game everybody's going to be watching and paying attention to. The other game in the West, this series, it just doesn't really interest me. The Portland Nuggets series. I've watched 2 games of it, and I don't know. To me, the battle lines are pretty clear. If whoever's backcourt makes shots, it looks like it's going to win the game. If the Nuggets can get some shots out of Austin Rivers and Campazzo, some 3-point making, then they can win. If not, they can't. I've actually been a little bit disappointed in the Blazers that they didn't really put a chokehold on this series. But Nurkic, I think he's been a little bit overmatched with Joker. I thought that was going to be a little bit more.
I said that from the beginning of the series. I've said that from the beginning of the series, and for some reason, everyone, if we go back, I said this is a 6 to 7 game series. And other people said, "Oh, well, they're missing their backcourt. You're a Blazers hater and you don't like Dame." And it's like, no, the writing is on the wall. It's just like sometimes people, they don't want to believe what they see. And I remember Colin Cowherd would always say this on his show. Sometimes when people tell you who they are, you should believe them. Portland has told you guys year after year, season after season, what kind of team they are. This is who they are. They're not this team, this superior team that people want them to be. I think that, again, there's 3 games left in the series. It's a 3-game series, the first to 2. Denver has 2 of those games at home. And I think that this is a chance for Joker to cement his MVP and start to cement his legacy. I think that if he wins this series, that will kind of ascend where he's at as a player in the league. And if I had to put my money on who will win this series with 3 games left and the first to 2, and Denver having 2 of those games at home, I'm going to go with Denver.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think this is a series that Portland should win. This is obviously a pivotal game tonight. If Portland wins it, I think this series is ostensibly over. So we'll definitely see. But once again, I haven't really been able to get too excited about this because it's almost like it's a case of where I know that the winner of this series is not really a contender for the title. A series where we do have a contender for the title, the Clippers. nothing really new to him.
Sorry, I missed that.
To report, except for the fact that Woj dropped a bomb saying that Lucas said he's feeling significantly better, and they have an extra day of rest. So it looks like you might get a Luka that's closer to 100%. I don't know. Does that change your calculation at all on who's going to win the series?
Did Woj drop a bomb of them signing or trading anybody on their roster? That's my question.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't change anything. Yeah,
you can't do that in the playoffs. So
yeah.
Finney Smith. Let me run down the last game. Finney Smith 2 of 5 from 3. Kleber 0 from 3. Tim Hardaway 0 from 4. Porzingis 0 for 2. Jalen Brunson 1 from 4. Jay Rich 1 for 2. Trey Burke 0 for 2. I mean, their roster, like I've said this from day one, their roster is not that good. I think, yeah, Luka is going to get healthy. Obviously, you saw that the injury was bothering him. But I think that to go back on the road in game 5, to go back to LA and ask him and the rest of the players to replicate what they did in the first 2 games, that's just too much to ask. They had, in my opinion, when you were up 19 in game 3, I don't like to talk about the past, but that was your opportunity to end the series. That was it. I think that the Clippers, they would have folded if they would have put their foot on their necks at that point. No team has ever came back down 3-0. I think that the Clippers would have folded and they would have packed their stuff up and they would have went home. I think Dallas missed their opportunity. I mean, Luka can get healthy, and I think that obviously with him being healthy, he's going to play better. But I don't think that Dallas has a shot. I don't think Dallas wins another game in the series.
Yeah, if I had to predict, I don't think that they'll win another game. But like you mentioned before, they started off the series shooting blazing hot, so maybe they can get it back to that point. But Charles made the point. We've made the point. The Clippers are a front-running team. They're running in front now, and it's hard to beat a front runner when they're running in front. That's what they like to do. So
but give them, we like I said, we talked about it a little.
Yeah, we got to give them the credit for surviving that storm in game 3.
Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson, all these other guys, they've made shots, they've played well. PG, he's looked like playoff P. He's played well the whole series. I think that in game 1 and game 2, I would have liked him to find Luka and take on that challenge. I would have liked him to do that a little bit more, but give them credit. They've played well. And, if anyone would have said they're down 2-0 before the season in the first round of the playoffs, everyone would have said, okay, yeah, they're out. They're done. They're finished. They don't mentally have enough mental toughness to overcome something like that, especially losing the first 2 games at home. So give them, you got to still give them their credit, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't have Dallas winning another game.
Yeah, no, I definitely concur with that. So we just go ahead and leave it there. So that's the West preview. Definitely hit subscribe. Look out for our other videos. We're going to start breaking down the teams that didn't make the playoffs and have been kicked out of the playoffs, as well as starting to preview the semifinal matchups in the East and the West. So look out for that as well. All right, till next time, we'll get at you guys.